In accordance with Governor Baker's executive order permitting virtual meetings during the COVID pandemic, the Cemetery Committee is conducting this public meeting today, July 1st, 2020, at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on the Zoom platform, and in accordance with the town's policy directive and guidelines issued on April 1st, 2020, and amended on May 7th. This meeting has been properly noticed with the town clerk. I ask that all Cemetery Committee members, town staff, and presenters activate their video and mute their microphones unless they have something to say or are participating in committee dialogue. For members of the public, when I open the meeting to public comment, please unmute yourself or raise your hand by hitting *9 on your phone, or select raise your hand option by your name in the list of participants. If you're recognized, please state your name and address. This meeting is being recorded and will be available for later viewing on the town's website. I hereby call this meeting to order. All committee votes will be taken via roll call. We will start with an attendance roll call of committee members. When I announce your name, please reply here, present, or in some such way, let us know you're there. Paul Cooke, I'm here. Andrea Solomon.
Present.
Jerry Soucy.
Hi, good afternoon, I'm here.
Leo Carroll. Leo's not here. Brian Davidson.
Present.
All right, we're all here. It's good to see others. It's nice to see you, Priscilla, Lydia, and of course, Aaron and Tish. And we also have Anna Trout with us. And Alan Cathcart, who's Director of Public Works. We don't see you. Oh, there you are. Nice to see you. Now we turn to our agenda. The meeting is being video and audio recorded. The next proposed committee meeting will be August the 5th. We don't know yet whether that will be via Zoom or maybe in person, but I hope August 5th works for everyone. Is there anyone for whom that does not work, either by Zoom or in person? Good. Okay, so tentatively that's it. August the 5th, we'll see whether we're going to meet in person or via Zoom. Next, we begin with chair comments. I want to say thank you to Aaron for helping organize this meeting via Zoom, and also for the Zoom administrator. Thanks for helping us out here. Now I have nothing more to say except I want to salute both Aaron and Tish for what they did in the cemetery for Memorial Day, putting the flags along with the folks from the Maynard Elks. And there's a lovely article that appeared in the Concord Journal by Betsy Levinson, describing how Aaron and Tish worked with the folks from Maynard Elks to put flags out on all the veterans' graves. And it was a rather complicated affair, and yet it came off just fine. So here's a salute to Tish and to Aaron for managing that. And now, with no further ado, I would like to turn it over to Aaron to give us the staff report on the cemetery.
Thank you very much, Paul. Good afternoon, everybody. It's been a long time. So glad we're finally able to convene a meeting this afternoon. So it's been a busy few months since we last met in it was March. Obviously, we've dealt with the COVID situation, the COVID pandemic. We implemented, as part of the Concord Public Works Continuity of Operations Plan, some modified operations early on during the pandemic situation, where we limited sales of lots to those currently in need of those. Also limited the number of people that could attend funerals at the cemetery to 10 early on, following the state's guidelines that has since been lifted. But we're still participating in social distancing and wearing face coverings and disinfecting anytime that we're using equipment or operating equipment and machinery and vehicles inside of the cemetery as far as our operations go. So we're still following some type of a COVID continuity of operations plan and safety guidelines. So we stayed in operation this entire time. Tish has done a great job managing the operations in the cemetery, working with customers. We have begun to sell lots. Again, she's been meeting with residents, again, following social distancing guidelines. So we'll be able to continue that. We've also had a number of interments and lot sales, like I mentioned, over the last 3 months, and I can go through those statistics here in a couple minutes. Einstein's has resumed spring maintenance operations in the cemetery in Sleepy Hollow, and Tish, along with members of the Concord Public Works Highway and Ground staff, have continued with maintenance, not only in Sleepy Hollow, but also Main Street and the Old Hill Burying Grounds as well. So those spring maintenance activities have continued throughout the COVID situation. So I want to commend Tish on her commitment to the cemetery and to operations. And without her help, we couldn't have maintained our operations. So as far as statistics go, for the month of June, we had 1 full grave and 5 cremations sold, 15 single grave lots, and 1 cremation lot. For the month of May, we sold, looks like 5 full lots, 2 cremation lots. And in the month of April, we had 2 lot sales and 2 cremation lot sales. 2 cremation, 2 full interments and 2 cremation interments and 4 lot sales. As far as also kind of wanted to talk about a couple of things we had mentioned previous discussions. We talked about the budget, and so right now we're working on closing out the FY20 budget for the cemetery. We are within our budget, a few $1,000s under budget as far as our operating expenses go. As far as capital expenses, and I can talk about the committee's priority projects in a few under the D9 agenda item. But due to the COVID situation, we were not able to make much progress on the record scanning project, which we identified as being something that we were going to spend some capital funding on this year. So we're working to request a encumbrance of those funds, and I'll be working on a memo to the townhouse this week to hopefully get approval to not lose those funds. Those funds do come from the cemetery account, but since they've already been allocated, we've had those discussions in previous meetings to try to not lose those monies that were already previously allocated. So we're going to work on trying to encumber that money for that specific item.
Aaron, tell us how much we're talking about.
We're talking about $25,000. So hopefully we can encumber that, and I probably will have an update for the full committee by August meeting. We'll know.
Right.
Also, we are obviously Einstein's has resumed operations. Our landscaping contract is up with them in September. We are working on drafting a new invitation for bid for landscaping services. Obviously, we've discussed that at a number of the previous cemetery committee meetings, and I've heard some of the concerns and some of the requests. Also, working with closely with Tish and Eric Shaw, who's the assistant superintendent. We've identified some concerns from, operational concerns from previous years. So we'll be working to address those in the bid specification, which we hope to have out publicly advertised both with the state and locally and in the newspaper by mid-July is the target to have that advertised, have an award recommendation by August 1st and issue the contract by the end of August. So we have a contractor on board for September.
Aaron, would you say something about, I believe you have acquired some electric powered, battery powered blowers?
We have.
Something about that? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so kind of following along with the town of Concord sustainability goals and also the some of the comments that I've heard from committee members, Tish has worked to kind of research and try out, and we've actually procured some electric powered landscaping equipment that includes a push mower, a weed whip, a backpack blower, and a number of battery packs, and Tish has been trialing those out for the department. So we have those on hand. It's still early on. The technology is not as, let's say, efficient or as productive necessarily as the gas-powered equipment, but it's definitely getting there. It's not applicable for every operation that we participate in, but I think it's been useful in certain situations. So we're definitely going to be trying to implement those not only within the cemetery group, but also the grounds group as part of the highway and grounds division. So.
Anybody have any questions, committee members, for our superintendent on this matter, on any of these matters that he's talked about?
I think it's terrific that they're, starting to with some of those alternatives. I think it addresses a lot of the community's concerns. So, I mean, I think it's a great job. I understand that it's trial basis, and as the technology grows, the opportunities will grow. But I just say, kudos to this department for trying to implement, alternative sources of power for their tools.
Aaron, because there hasn't been a town meeting, how are we, if you'll tell everyone how we are proceeding, how you're proceeding without a 2021 budget that's been, finalized?
So that's correct. So obviously the town meeting has been delayed. There are talks that it may be in September, but as part of the Governor Baker's emergency order, municipalities are allowed to expend 1/12 of the previous fiscal year's budget. So we are going to be operating for the month of July, 1/12 of the FY 2020 budget. So my plan is to not procure any capital items or sign any capital contracts for during the month of July until we have a better idea that our full budget for the cemetery group will be funded in September, but we will still continue with operations and maintenance and all of our existing contracts.
Any other committee members have a question or a comment for Aaron?
Please, yeah, just as far as internment, have you seen a change, an increase the last couple of months because of the pandemic?
No, we have not.
Okay.
If there's nothing further, I think we can move on to D3 on our agenda. Let's go to D3. That's the lot repurchase, Town of Concord, Reynolds. You have to fill us in. I think everyone should have a packet that Aaron sent out, and there's probably information if you need it on these things. Go ahead, Aaron and Tish, on this particular question, D3, lot repurchase.
There's no additional material for this specific question that you have in your packet. This is just Linda Reynolds owns lot L29 Linden Path. It's a cremation lot in the older section of the cemetery and wants to sell it back to us. She's in the process of actually exchanging this lot for a 2-grave lot up in the new area. Just has to be approved by a vote.
Is there any additional question or problem you have with it, Tish, or is this a standard?
Nope, very standard.
Do we have a motion to go ahead and repurchase this lot?
Yeah, I'll motion.
Thank you, Jerry, and I will second it. Paul Cooke will second. So Jerry Soucy motions and Paul Cooke seconds. All in favor? Let's have a roll call. Andrea Solomon?
Aye.
Jerry Soucy?
Aye.
Brian Davidson?
Aye.
And Paul Cooke, aye. Is that call, we have a phone line. I wonder if that's Leo.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Windy.
Leo, we
Hello?
can.
Okay.
It's Cuddy Hunk.
We can hear the wind blowing out there.
Oh, yeah. Well, Sorry.
No, it's okay. Have you heard the motion, Leo?
Yes.
What is your vote?
I'm doing this through an audio, so I don't think I can vote.
I don't see
I
why
can't
not.
manually.
I think is there any reason, Aaron, or our Zoom administrator, to tell why someone cannot vote on a committee even though we can't see his picture?
As long as he can hear and be heard, he is allowed to vote.
So, did you hear that, Leo? I think we can, if we
I
can.
can, but I called in on the 877 number because I didn't have bandwidth to do Zoom. So I think that might be the problem.
All right. We hope you can continue with us. I think we've got 4-0 votes. I think that the motion passes. Leo, try to stick with us if you can. It's great to have you.
Okay, I thank you. All right.
Let's go to D4 on our agenda, non-conforming headstone request from Reynolds.
So same woman is requesting, look in the information that you got in the packet that was sent out in the email today. The Reynolds is requesting, it's this one in your packet. She's requesting, it's a block of granite. The measurements are here. The stone is well within our size restrictions, even with the attachment on top. What she's requesting is this little statue of a deer be attached to the top of the piece of granite.
Oh, I see.
So it's not, yeah, it's something that's in her garden right now. That's why there's some leaves in the picture, because it's in her garden. So she's requesting that it be attached. The monument company says he's going to attach it really well and he doesn't have any issues with it. We've had 2 other stones that have had things attached to them. One failed a couple of times, so it was replaced, and one was stolen.
So it's a risky proposition. Is that what you're saying?
A little bit, yes. That's why I wasn't going to approve it without the committee's approval.
And this picture, this is the deer in question.
Yes,
It will
she
be on
says it's,
top of the-
she says it's made out of stone. The monument company hasn't seen it. If it was cement, I wouldn't even ask. But he said he's going to drill into it and attach it to the piece of granite, and he's secure in the knowledge that it won't move. I don't know.
Anyone have any questions for Tish on this matter?
So, yeah, it's Jerry. So we don't know the material, and if it's cement, concrete, molded, it's a non-starter. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but she has said it's stone, that it's been carved out of stone.
Okay, thanks.
He also, the monument company won't drill into cement. He hasn't seen it either. So would be a no-go for him as well.
Other thoughts, comments, or questions to Tish about the matter? If it were to be attempted and failed, there would be no responsibility on the part of the cemetery.
No.
The cost would be entirely upon Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Is there any downside to letting her try?
No, I think maybe we would have her sign something saying that she understands that there's a risk there. She signs an application anyway. There is an application process, but maybe having her sign something stating that she understands the risk that it could be taken,
Right.
or could become disconnected at some point because of weather, because of ice, snow, anything.
Does the application reference any of that?
No.
Well, on the face of it, from my own observation, I don't have anything against letting her try. And Tish's notion about having her sign a some kind of a additional release, if you want to call it that, sounds like a prudent extra step. But if we could do that, from my point of view, I see no objection to it. But perhaps somebody else has something else they want to say. Then I would move that we, as long as she has signed a, for lack of a better word, release, releasing us from any responsibility should the thing be stolen, I motion that we give her permission to go ahead and try to mount it. Does anybody want to second that motion?
I'll second.
Andrea Solomon seconds the motion that Paul Cooke made. Now let's have a vote. All in favor. Let's have a roll call. We'll begin with you, Andrea.
Aye.
Aye. And Jerry?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Leo, can you hear us? Leo, let's try one more time. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Aye. Hello?
What do you think of, did you hear the motion and what do you think of it?
Yes, I heard the motion and I agree. Aye.
Leo Carroll, thank you, Leo. Leo Carroll votes aye. Paul Cooke also votes aye. It's unanimous. We will let Ms. Reynolds go ahead and try if she'll sign that release.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to the next item on our agenda. D5, non-conforming headstone request, Canava.
So Canava, in your packet of information is the black, it's shown as black granite. It looks kind of like a couch.
Right.
That's basic, and the sizes are all on there. That's what she's requesting. If you look at the second page that's included there, it's the back page of our monument application, showing the maximum dimension for a bench. So the maximum height for a bench is 2 feet high. She's requesting that she put a bench which meets the maximum dimensions of a 2-grave lot headstone, which is a little further up on that page. It's a piece of granite that's obviously multiple pieces. It's at least 4 pieces of granite. Very difficult to move if we do need to. And it's nothing that's been allowed in the past. We do have one other bench that has a back. It's placed on open land. It's not on a grave. It's not a headstone. It came from a garden center. A family donated it years ago and placed it on open space on a wood line because it doesn't have to be moved. It's on the wood line. Nothing that we would ever want to move.
So Tish, a couple of questions. Are the proposed dimensions of the bench larger than what we permit?
For a bench, yes. Yeah, we allow a bench that's 2 feet high. This is 3 feet 6 inches high.
Is there anything else about it that is exceptional?
Well, the fact that it would be so hard to move.
I noticed that in the description of it, at the very bottom on the first page, by the way, this is not a picture of the actual bench. This is somebody else's bench that they want to replicate.
Right. He didn't. The monument. If this gets approved, where it's going to be, there'll be a second request next month or at the next meeting. The monument company didn't want to go through the steps of doing a full-size drawing and putting it all together until he knew if this was going to be approved or not.
This picture is close to what it would look like. Is that correct?
It's pretty much what it would look like, except it would be blue.
Yes, it says at the bottom, Bahama blue,
Yeah.
which is rather unusual.
Yes. If you do approve this, next month, you'll get a request, and on the back of that bench in full color, she'll be requesting on a blue background, a rising sun, a full sun, and a full rainbow.
Mhm.
And she wants that to be on a sky-like background.
Hmm.
And just to clarify, this is actually going to be used as a headstone, right?
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
And it's about the size of a 2-grave headstone, but it's much larger than what you would normally approve of for a bench.
Correct.
Okay.
That was Andrea Solomon, our vice chair. Does anyone else have a thought, a comment, or a question regarding this particular item on the agenda?
So, and Tish, you say it's as large as a block headstone, so I assume this is going on a double lot?
It's going on a 2-grave lot. It meets the maximum dimension in every direction for an upright headstone.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's 3 feet 6 inches wide, 1 foot 6 inches from front to back, and 3 feet 6 inches high.
Leo, have you got anything you want to add or thoughts about it? Go ahead, Leo.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Can you
hear
hear
you,
me?
Leo. Go ahead.
Okay, all right, yeah. I don't know, just one thing. I'd like to, ask you to build on it.
I can't hear you, Leo.
Okay, I was wondering what your thoughts are on it. You have to do it every day. Is it going to be a problem mowing around it or anything like that?
It's definitely going to be a problem if we have to move it.
Further comments, Leo?
No, I'm fine.
Brian, how about you?
Tish, can you just confirm again, so would this be setting precedent as far as benches go in the cemetery? This would be the first time we're going with something so large?
Yes.
Aaron, have you got any comments on it?
Well, I think it's up to the committee to decide. I think that's why you make the tough calls on this one. If you look at other benches, we have one other bench that has a back. Tish shared a photo with me earlier today of what that looked like. It is gray type of granite with no arms on it. So this would definitely be a unique piece in the cemetery.
Paul, may I just say something here?
Jerry, please go ahead.
Okay, that, considering the last item that came up, a grave, a memorial is a very personal thing, and it's kind of hard to understand sometimes why people choose what they choose or why they do what they do. But I think that, my own opinion is that, it's not that far out a thing. I'm kind of intrigued. I'm kind of interested in seeing what this colorful monument looks like. I'll stop there. Oh, I will just say that, with regards to his observations about it being really difficult to move, if that's certainly something to consider. If that's something that's likely to happen or remotely possible or unlikely, it's likely to need to be moved at some point for whatever reason.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's important to know. Thank you.
Tish, you said it's likely to be needed to be moved.
It's probably guaranteed.
Mhm.
Okay.
Where did you say it was going again?
It's up in the new area,
Okay.
kind of it's across the street from my office, like probably 3 or 4 rows back. I mean, we've got 15 rows of graves we need to get to. This one would definitely be moved probably more than once.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
Tish, is there anything that the applicant could be told that would allow them to reapply with a modified design that would be more likely to pass.
Well, she could ask for a bench that's within the dimensions that we allow without a back.
So if that were to be the case,
Yeah, she has that option, or she can do a headstone.
any other comments from committee members regarding this request?
This is Leo. This is Leo. I was wondering, is there, do we have the ability to make an agreement where they would put into some type of fund money to pay for movements if it was necessary?
We move them for interments, and so I've asked the two monument companies that we call, the local guys, because the people from far away aren't going to come. They really don't want to move it.
Okay.
It's not the cost, it's when we try to move it, we could damage it. It could fall apart.
Right.
That's
Okay.
the problem.
So I get the feeling that this is not going to fly, but I don't want to, I want to give them though it's not our job, the hope that if they stay within the specifications for gravestones in that area, they could still resubmit another application. They could still have a colorful marker on the grave. I don't know how that, I don't know if it's up to us to voice that in our vote, but perhaps Tish, you could convey to them that because of the difficulty it would present regarding moving it and our concern that we might accidentally break it, and we don't want to be involved in that sort of problem, we can't grant them this waiver of the specs. But if they want to return with something that will not require being moved, we could again consider it, something along that line.
Well, I think Paul, I think that'd be a comments back would be if the committee decides and votes it down. So I don't know if there hasn't been a vote taken that has voted it down and denied it, and I think that's at that point there'd be a reassessment to determine why it was voted, and maybe another discussion why it was voted down, and then recommendations or comments provided back to the applicant.
Okay. So I guess we need to take a vote. Aaron, I think, has put it correctly. I think we need to take a vote on the request. Are there any further comments before we do that? Do we need a motion to not accept this? Is that how we should do it?
I would say that if there's I'd say that the committee has received an application for a non-conforming stone, right? If one of the committee members feels that they want to make a motion to accept it, they make the motion to accept it, they take a vote, and if the vote does not pass, then we have a continued discussion on why it didn't pass, and the committee can provide official comments back to the applicant.
All right, let's do that. I move that we accept, seems an interesting way of doing it, but do we accept this request? This is a different way of doing it than usual, but anyway, did anyone want to second it?
I'll second that, Paul.
Now let's have a roll call vote. I'll vote first, and I vote to decline I vote nay. Brian, would you like to vote?
I vote nay as well.
Andrea, would you like to vote?
I also vote nay.
Jerry?
No.
Jerry votes no as well. Leo?
No.
We have 5 votes against the motion. And so request you, Tish, that get back to the applicant, let them know. And then if we can be of some assistance in reassessing it, we'd be happy to do that.
Okay.
All right, let's go on to the next agenda item. D6, lot repurchase, Town of Concord, Bowers.
So also no materials in your packet for this. I don't know if there's anything else that had materials in your packet. And this is just, oh, sorry, there is. There's a copy of a map. So if you look in your information, there's a map that shows the section J of Chestnut Hollow. Looks like this.
Yes. Remind us, Tish, where Chestnut Hollow is.
So this section is if you went down the hill in front of the Melvin being on your right, and then you went right and took your first right. This section would be then on your left.
Where, let me ask you this, where would the Melvin be, in what direction, if looking at this map?
Looking at this map, with this being the bottom, the Melvin would be like way over here. I'm trying to think of what's down there that you'd recognize.
This is down there going towards the bridge over the creek?
Yes, exactly. That's, if you followed this road right here, this is the road right here, this little extension that you see,
Yes.
that goes down to the path in the woods where the little
Okay.
bridge was built a couple years ago. Yeah. Yep.
Friends on the committee, does that clarify it for you? Do you know where we're talking about? If you're not, we can, everybody got it? Don't be bashful if you don't. Okay, I think we know. All right.
So you can see on this map, the committee's plan back in the 80s when this was laid out was to have 3 rows of 2 grave lots that you can see in front of that one that I've kind of outlined. And the back row was made up of all 4 grave lots. They also had a plan for the headstones where the front rows of this whole section were limited to flat headstones. The middle rows were limited to stones that were only 2 feet high. And the back rows were able to have the 3-foot 6-inch height limit. It was just the look they were going for. The flat headstone rows never sold, so we ended up changing those to have that 2-foot height limit as well. The middle rows stayed 2 feet and the back row is still 3.6. The very back row was all sold as 4 grave lots, and this family's parents purchased one of those 4 grave lots. They now want to sell back 2. They don't need that much space. They want to retain 2 of the graves and sell back 2 of the graves to us, making it into 2 separate 2 grave lots. So instead of having a row in that specific instance of 4 possibly larger headstones than what you typically see, there would be possibly 3 of those larger headstones, and then in between them, there'll be 2 smaller uprights.
Any problem you see with that, Tish?
I don't really know. It just changes the look a little, but I don't even know that anybody would notice.
Does anybody have any thoughts, questions, or comments to Tish or in general regarding this request? Do we have a motion to accept it?
I'll motion to accept it.
Andrea Solomon motions to accept it. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Jerry Soucy seconds it. All in favor? Here's our roll call. Leo, we'll start with you.
Accept.
Thank you. Jerry?
Aye.
Jerry, Soucy accepts. Brian?
Aye.
Andrea Solomon?
Aye.
Paul Cooke? Aye. That's unanimous. It's accepted. Let's go on to D7. Lot transfer, Monahan.
So this is an older family lot that was purchased by May Hall, and many years ago, the committee voted to authorize that the ownership be in the hands of one of her heirs, Paul Monahan. He's had it forever. He doesn't live in Concord anymore, and thinks that now it is best that the ownership of this lot be transferred to his brother, Richard Monahan, who is a Concord resident and he was on our committee. He's always been involved in cemetery issues and activities over the years. So takes an active interest. He just had his own lots, so didn't have any interest in being interred here. And Paul did, and Paul still may be interred here, but is not a resident and is also in a little bit of failing health. So wanted to, at this point, transfer ownership over to his brother, Richard, who's local, rather than have his children inherit it who have no interest in this lot.
Any problem with this, Tish, that you can see?
No.
Does any member of the committee have a thought, question, or comment regarding this request? Do we have a motion?
I motion to accept the request.
Andrea Solomon motions to accept it. A second?
Second.
Brian Davidson seconds it. All in favor? We'll do a roll call. Brian?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Leo?
Aye.
And
Aye.
aye. It's unanimous, accepted. Now we move on to D8. Lot repurchase, Town of Concord, Evans.
So again, a very basic, it's a 2-grave lot in the new area that a couple had purchased, and they've since moved out of state and no longer have an interest in being interred here in Concord. So just want to sell the lot back to us. So we just have to accept it back. I can give you the lot information. Sorry, it's 27 Catalpa Path.
That's in the new part.
It is.
Any questions by any of the members of the committee? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that the town repurchase the Evans lot.
Thank you, Brian. Do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Andrea. Andrea seconds. All in favor? Brian?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Leo?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Paul? Aye. It's unanimous. The motion is passed. Now we move on to D9. Update on the committee's priority projects. You remember that over the past, I think it was back in December, we identified 3 things that we thought it would be more efficient if we had 3 projects that we really pushed this year. And these are the 3 that we're working on. The mausoleum lots, the record scanning, and the headstone restoration. So we're going to briefly have an update on these 3 things. First, the mausoleum lots. I think where we stand with that is that Aaron and the town engineer laid out potentially 7 mausoleum plots on that hillside, but 3 of them look like it would be difficult to utilize because of the lay of the land, the trees, and also the other graves that would be in some way be in the way that are further down the hillside from where starting at the Pope tomb. So it looked like it might be more sensible to just focus on 4 of those plots. And then once we've got a final on the specs of what each plot would be required, then we can move on to having a discussion of what we would sell them for, and then ultimately have a rate hearing in the town at some point when that's feasible. But I think at present, the most important thing is that each of the members of the committee have a look at that hillside, if you haven't done so already, and give us your opinion about trying to do 7 or holding it at 4. I don't know if you've had a look. Has everybody had a chance to look at that hillside?
Paul, yeah, this is the same discussion that we had, I think maybe the last time that we met. Did we review that layout of the 7 items? And okay.
Yeah, so So I'd shared this plan. I'll hold it up here if everybody can see it. So this shows it's actually 6 lots, the existing Pope lot down there. It currently exists. And so there was 5 additional that we identified that could be feasible. And the discussions, lots A, B, and C were most feasible, and question about lots D and E as, related to access, where there's existing lots in front of that along Maple 11 that might be damaged during construction. So I think we discussed the committee visiting those lots individually, taking a walk around. I can stake those out if needed. And then the committee provides some feedback on the lots, and we can move forward with either 3 or 5, and then move forward to the rate hearing.
So it wasn't 4 or 6, it's 3 or 5. Sorry, guys. Have you all had a chance to check out that, or does Aaron need to sort of stake them out again so you can have a better look? Brian, let me poll all the members. Brian, does 3 look like a feasible number to you?
Yes, I'm in favor for 3, and I've been down there, and so I'm good with where the spacing is for those. Thank you.
Jerry, thanks, Brian. Jerry, how about you? What do you think?
The same, yes.
Okay, Leo, have you got something to add?
No, I just think 3, well, that would be good. I think that would be about the limit.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Leo. Andrea?
I agree. 3 seems like the limit.
Aaron, I think you've got all you need there. I think we're unanimous. I agree with the other members of the committee. And if we can manage to put those 3 lots for sale, we've had the Hope Tomb has been there since 1930. That's the only one we've got in the cemetery, but it would not be a bad thing to add those 3 others. And I think we just need to maybe look at what other towns are selling their plots for. We did that in a preliminary way over a year ago, but we can revisit that, and I will see what I can come up with. Maybe we can address it again next month.
Okay, very good. Sounds like a plan. So I will work on with engineering on getting a new plan that shows just lots A, B, and C.
All right, that's great. I think that's all we need to say today about the mausoleums. Let's talk about record scanning, and I'll turn that over to you, Aaron.
Thank you. So record scanning is a project that we haven't made really any progress on since we met last. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this, at this meeting, we've been really focusing on essential services. So really the operations and maintenance of the cemeteries in the town of Concord. The town itself has limited its service accordingly. This looks like this would be a project that I would hope that we can resume progress on in the coming months. And I can provide an update with some progress either at the August meeting or the September meeting. But right now, we haven't really moved forward on it since we had last met. And just kind of a status update, we had engaged with the town archivist to look at our lot cards, our records, identified that we would be hiring a third-party company that specializes in records retention and scanning these in to some type of an online system that can be accessible by town staff as well as maybe by the public, via commercial applications such as cemetery fines. So that's the direction we're looking at to continue in.
I think what you told me earlier was that you'll need to work with Nathaniel Smith, the town archivist.
Correct.
And,
we have, yep, and we.
Go ahead.
Sorry, we had engaged him previously, but during the COVID situation, it's really limited our ability to continue on this effort right now.
When you do have opportunity in September or before or after, what will be the first thing you'll want to do with Mr. Smith?
So we'll work on. He had already started to reach out to some companies to solicit some pricing and see where we would be at. So we've identified funding. We do have capital project priority funding in the budget. So we'd use that funding to hire a company. We'll put together a scope of work that shows exactly what we need to do, get some pricing, get a contractor on board, contract executed, and then move forward with the scanning project.
Some of that, the money for that is being encumbered. In other words, that some of the money is actually in this year's budget and you want to carry it forward to 2021.
That's correct. That's the plan.
Okay, great.
And we also have additional funding that, we've allocated, I've requested in the FY 2021 budget for capital priority projects.
Great. Any thoughts or questions on the record scanning part of our priorities from anyone?
I'll just say, I was looking at Hopkins, Massachusetts recently. I was looking on their website, and they've archived their records as well. So just as a note to you, Aaron, I mean, I don't know if reaching out to other places would help you, and finding a good firm that would help you do it, but it sounds like you have it well in hand with the town's town resources. But just an FYI, I saw that. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's an important project. I mean, we want our records to be safe. I mean, I think Tish takes good care of them, but if they're digitalized, they're much going to be in a safer situation, I think, than it just being in written cards, whereas I think a lot of them are right now.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go on now to headstone restoration, the third of our 3 priority projects. Tell us what you can about how we're doing there, Aaron.
Absolutely. So that's really a project we have made some significant progress in. And we have hired a third-party contractor to come in and work with us to restore a lot of those projects, or excuse me, a lot of those headstones. And we've identified those stones during the first round. They're looking to finish up this week, and I'll provide an update with some photos of the work at next month's meeting.
That's great. That's wonderful. Any questions to Aaron about the headstone project? Aaron, tell us the name of the outfit that's been doing that for us.
Did Aaron disappear?
I think he did. He'll be back, I'm sure.
It's a company called Gravestone Services, Historic Gravestone Services. A woman named Tamara Condi. She's doing a good job.
Great. Okay. Thank you for that, Tish. And Tish, when you say you're almost done, Erin said she'll be done next week. Have we got a new list of stones for her to work on, or whoever else we will employ to continue for the next round?
We have it started.
You have it started.
Have it started, yeah, but we need to do another walkthrough and firm up another new list. Yeah, with the new, it's new fiscal year. I don't know where we stand on money for that, but we'll be working on putting a whole new packet together, and we'll have it ready to go.
Okay, great. That's great, Tish. Thank you. Mm-hmm. All right, so I think we're done with D9, and I want to thank Priscilla for being so patient. We finally got to D. We probably should have put you first. We should have made a motion to put you earlier. So thank you for being patient. This is the tree labeling project, and this is a continuing discussion. And I think we are very close to just giving you a big green light and going ahead, Priscilla. And I want to say on behalf of the committee that we are grateful to the Friends of Sleepy Hollow for their willingness to take this on. I think it's a great project.
It is, definitely.
Would you like to tell us just a little bit about it before, or just speak a little bit about it?
Well, basically, the trees that want to be labeled have already been identified, and we've done some relatively extensive research into the kind of labeling that we want to do, that I think has gone through your committee already. I haven't been that involved in it specifically. Susan D has done a lot of that, but we're all in agreement with what has been decided on. And really, we've just been waiting for the green light. Okay,
I think the committee is ready to do that. We've identified 26 species.
Right.
And I think your representative met with Jerry Soucy and with Aaron McCloskey, and we came to an agreement that the screw type of attachment into
Yeah.
the tree will work. So I think all we need is a vote to give you the green light to go ahead and have those labels made. And once they are and given to Aaron, Aaron told me that it probably wouldn't take more than a couple of weeks to get them on the trees.
Right. The only thing that I will say is that we as an organization, or, you know, the Friends of Sleepy Hollow, have actually not been meeting since I think our last meeting might have been in, I want to say February. I had proposed a Zoom meeting in May, I think it was, and we didn't end up doing it. I think that Kevin has hopes to possibly do one in August, but I have a feeling that we might be looking at September for moving this along, although I will report to him if, you know, you do vote it through and there is a green light. And maybe there are some of us that can work behind the scenes and just get the labels ordered. I think that's the main thing.
Okay, Priscilla.
So.
Does anyone have any questions about this to Priscilla or to Tish, or if Aaron gets back, or to me? Any committee members?
I guess Aaron, as the tree warden, will he be overseeing this process? Just a quick question on that.
Yes, he will. I spoke to him earlier, and he told me that once he's got the little attachments, the signs in hand, he can see to their being installed on each of the species that have been identified. I asked him how long. He said, once he's got it, maybe in 2 weeks. Here he is. He can speak for himself.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Computer died and had to get the charger, and it's, yeah.
Aaron, we're talking about, we're now talking about the tree labeling project, and Priscilla just reviewed it for us. And I think we understand that the only thing that we need is to give the official green light to the Friends to go ahead and have the, we have accepted their proposal, and go ahead and have the labels made. And Brian asked if you were going to be the one in charge of making sure that the trees were labeled.
Yes, we can do that. Absolutely. So we just need to, you know, we'll get the labels in, and once we get the labels in, we can install them on the trees. In the meantime, we can work on identifying the trees in the cemetery that we want to install the labels on.
I actually have a quick question because I can hear it coming from Kevin, which is if we order the labels, pay for them, and we're gifting this to the town, has that process been done yet as far as anybody knows?
Not specifically for the labeling project. What is the estimated cost of the?
Unfortunately, I do not know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I can find
So
out.
if we can get an estimated cost, then we can determine if we need to go to the Board of Selectmen to get approval, or
Okay.
if we can just accept it from the department.
Do you know what it has to be, what the amount that it has to be under?
I believe it's $500, but I want to say that that's, I would want to make sure I confirm that before I give you a false
Yes,
number.
I understand. Okay. All right. So that is one small little thing that we need to, again, because haven't been doing this all the way through. I'm not sure the status of that piece of it. I know that often with our projects, that can be a stumbling block. We've forgotten, and all of a sudden we have to do that piece of it. So I will check with Kevin about it.
Can we vote to approve it pending and I'm asking this of our parliamentary advisors here, Aaron, and I think we can vote to approve it pending the necessary gifting requirements are taken care of. Because I would like to, this is, this has been going on for a long time. I know that Kevin, for one, is very anxious to do it, and we're anxious to have it done. So it's just a matter of putting all the pieces, getting all our ducks in a row. And rather than having to come back again and have a vote, I think we're all in favor of it, of the project. I would just like to vote to say that we approve, or to motion and have a vote, and pending the necessary gifting requirements are taken care of. Does that sound feasible to you, Aaron? Any committee members have any thoughts?
Yes, it does.
Comments? Sorry?
Yes, that sounds fine to me.
Committee members, any thoughts, comments, questions?
Just one last question, I guess, to the tree warden there, Aaron. I think when we were talking last time, there was some question about the health of the trees if you attach, these signs to them. But it sounds like that got resolved. Is that true?
Yes, we discussed, and they showed me examples of how the signs would actually attach with a spring and a screw that allows the sign to kind of grow with the tree. So I think it should be fine.
Terrific, thank you.
So I motion that we accept the gift of tree identification labels from the Friends of Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, pending the necessary gifting requirements that go along with such gifts. Do I have a second?
A second.
Andrea Solomon seconds. Let's have a roll call vote. Leo, what do you say? Hello, Leo.
Can you hear me? Yeah,
Yes, we can hear you.
I agree. Yay.
So great. Leo says aye. Brian.
An enthusiastic aye.
Thank you, Brian. Jerry.
Yes, aye.
Andrea.
Aye.
This is Paul, and I say aye as well. It's unanimous. Priscilla, you let Kevin and the friends know that we're all on board with this.
Great.
Okay. Thanks a
Lovely.
lot.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
I'm going to sign off. It was good to see everybody.
Thank you for your patience.
Oh, no problem. I find it fascinating. It's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Bye, Tish.
Hi, Priscilla.
All right. Now we go to D11, committee comments relative to issues contained in this agenda or feedback received since our last meeting. Any committee members with any additional comments?
Well, I guess I'd just like to thank Tish. The Fenn School redid the headstones for Roger Fenn and Eleanor Fenn. It's springtime, and a lot of guidance to them. They're very appreciative, and I thought it was a great story of how they got the kids involved to raise funds. The headstone wasn't too bad, but it did have like a 30% lean and was pretty well stained, probably from the pine trees above it. And they worked, they had bake sales, raised money, and I thought it was a great all-around effort by the kids and by the school, and important to remember the founders and to remember those that are buried here in our sacred ground. So I just thought it was great. So thank you, Tish. And I think it'd be a great story. I don't know, we can work on it in the future. I know the Concord Journal right now looks desperate for some stories with our constant pandemic reporting. Maybe this would be a fun article. I know Fenn would welcome the article as well. So, but thanks, Tish, appreciate it.
Brian, I saw that you gave us a link to the website at Fenn. I thought that was a terrific story too. And you get some credit for making that happen. And I think if you showed the article that Aaron sent out to us by Betsy Levinson, if you showed it to some of your friends over at the Fenn School, or referred it to Betsy, you might just get that article you want in the Concord Journal. So anyway, that's a thought.
It'd be great. Maybe we can work on that.
Okay, now we go to D12, public comment. Oh, sorry. Jerry,
No, that's
go
okay.
ahead.
I just wanted to echo that to Tish and to Brian for driving. I'm a Fen dad, so it was a very cool story.
Yeah, that story had legs. That got further than you thought. That's great. So now we go to D12 public comments. Yes, sir. Alan, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. Just a quick introduction. Again, Alan Cathcart, recently appointed Director of Concord Public Works. Just wanted to offer some apologies as far as Aaron has been working hard to convene a meeting. You know, the town manager has been, you know, fairly strategic and deliberate as far as how we're, you know, what meetings are happening and when, but we're all sort of entering this Zoom universe. And congratulations to the committee for your first inaugural. Paul, you did a great job, and it's a little bit different and unusual, but I think people also find it's even approachable in a way that, you know, and convenient in some other way. So, you know, well done on this. And just to let you know that, you know, I've appreciated the opportunity to listen in. I'm a water sewer guy. This is new to me, but I feel with Tish and her experience and Aaron's capabilities, you're in good hands. And I just appreciate the opportunity to sort of listen in. And who knows if Aaron drops off at some point in the future for, you know, technical difficulties, maybe I can help out. But I know with Tish here, you're in good hands as well. So just, you know, thank you for your efforts, and appreciate, you know, the opportunity to listen in.
Alan, thank you for spending an hour and a quarter with us. We appreciate having you with us. And Mallory, it's good to see you. And Anna, thank you for joining us. And Lydia, it's good to see you.
Thank you. Same here.
So I think we have managed to finish all our business, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all in August, either online via Zoom, or maybe, who knows, in person. But I wish you all a safe July. God bless you.
You may want to make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Anna. We appreciate that. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Andrea seconds. Brian made the motion. Leo, goodbye to you over there. Have a good time on the island. And we...
Okay. And you just want your roll call vote one more time.
Oh yeah, we have to have a roll call. We have to vote on the adjournment. Leo, what do you vote?
I vote to adjourn, please.
All right, and have a good time out there.
Okay, thank you very much. See ya.
Jerry.
Yeah, I want to adjourn.
Brian.
Aye.
Brian votes to adjourn. Andrea.
Aye.
And so do I. Aaron, we'll see you later. Bye, Alan.
Take care. Thanks, everyone.
Happy
Bye,
4th,
Bye,
everybody.
Tish.
Happy 4th.
Same to you.